Someone is still broadcasting.
Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a seriously chilling case file known as the Last Broadcast. Now, this is arguably the creepiest live stream ever documented, and we're going to walk through the exact sequence of events experienced by a night shift security guard named Ethan. Okay, so let's just dive right into the timeline here, because our starting point relies on a glaring impossibility. Exactly 25 years ago, this local TV station closed down permanently. I mean, the power grid was completely severed, the doors were locked, and the world just moved on, right? But then, the sequence kicks off at exactly 2:17 a.m. when our security guard, Ethan, receives this crackling emergency distress call coming from that exact building. The voice on the line mutters those chilling words we just started with. Now, Ethan laughs it off, obviously. He's like, that's impossible. But moments later, he actually arrives at the scene. And the building is utterly silent. There is just undisturbed, thick dust covering absolutely everything.
So, Ethan pushes deep into the belly of this abandoned facility, heading straight for the main control room. But instead of just an empty, dark room, he walks into a stark, terrifying scene. The desks are barren, chairs are overturned, it's a mess. Except for one old television set sitting right smack in the middle of the console. And impossibly, it was on. It was literally glowing in the absolute dark of a building that hasn't seen a drop of electricity in 2.5 decades. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just playing static. The screen was showing a live, real-time camera feed of Ethan himself standing right there in the control room.
Now, you know when you see yourself on a live camera, you expect to see a mirror image. Ethan, with his heart pretty much completely stopping in his chest at this point, decides to test this. In reality, he slowly, hesitantly raises his hand. But on the screen, the person on the TV doesn't. The figure just stands completely still. And this is where the sequence breaks entirely. The anomaly on the glass takes on a life of its own. The figure on the screen smiled. Meanwhile, in reality, Ethan's own nervous smile completely vanishes. He drops his hand. He realizes, in that instant, he isn't looking at a delayed feed, and he certainly isn't looking at a reflection. He's looking at something else, something that is wearing his face. The rules of physics and broadcasting are just entirely out the window now. The entity on the screen, still wearing that impossible, creepy smile, actually begins to move. It steps closer to the camera, just taking one deliberate, echoing step forward on the glass. And then closer. I mean, the claustrophobia of this moment is absolutely overwhelming. Ethan is paralyzed in this dusty control room, watching a digital copy of himself walk forward from whatever dark digital corridor it lives in. It steps closer and closer until the face of the entity entirely fills the curved glass of the old television screen. And then the boundary between the screen and the room shatters completely. The entity's face fills the monitor, its lips part, and it whispers out into the dead air of the control room, "Don't turn around." This is the ultimate horror transition. The threat is no longer safely contained behind a layer of glass. It is now a physical presence in the room with him. Ethan freezes. He takes the screen's advice. But right behind him, literally inches from the back of his neck, he hears it. Slow, wet, heavy breathing. He refuses to look. He just stands there in the dark, trapped between that smiling face on the screen in front of him and those wet, heavy breaths right down his neck. Then, the TV suddenly goes pitch black. The glowing light completely vanishes. The heavy breathing stops. The room becomes utterly, suffocatingly silent. I mean, we really have to pause here just to imagine the sheer adrenaline pumping through Ethan's veins. He stands there in the pitch black for several agonizing seconds. Finally, gathering every single ounce of courage he possesses, he turns around. And there is nothing. Not a single thing. Relieved, with his adrenaline just crashing, he lets out a nervous, breathless laugh. The nightmare is over, right? Well, that silence is violently shattered. His phone aggressively vibrates in his pocket. He pulls it out, the harsh blue light of the screen illuminating his face in the dark room. A digital intrusion flashes right across his lock screen with this exact text: "Live stream started." So the crucial point here is when Ethan unlocks his phone to see the details of this mysterious notification. The stream has a viewer count, and the number is just one. A single viewer. Meaning this isn't just an isolated haunting anymore. This nightmare is being actively broadcast out into the world. Somebody somewhere is watching this feed. With a trembling finger, Ethan taps the notification. But this is where the bottom just completely falls out of the story. The stream opens up on his phone. It shows a camera angle of the very control room he is standing in right now. It shows the empty desks, and it shows Ethan looking down at his phone. But that's not all it shows, because right behind Ethan, clearly visible on his phone's live stream, someone is standing, watching him. The entity didn't disappear when the TV turned off at all. It just waited. And the exact moment Ethan saw it on his phone, the stream abruptly ended.
And that brings us to the police investigation, which honestly only deepens the entire mystery of this case file. Because before the incident, we know for a fact Ethan walked freely into an unlocked control room. But the next morning, when the police finally arrive to investigate the abandoned station, the control room door is securely locked from the inside. They literally have to break it down. And inside, there are absolutely no footprints in that thick dust other than the ones leading to the center of the room. But there is no Ethan. He has completely vanished from a sealed room. The only thing left in there is that one old television. It is still broadcasting.
Which leaves us with a pretty grim reality. The broadcast didn't end with Ethan's disappearance. It actually became an endless, haunting loop. According to the source material, every single night at exactly 2:17 a.m., that old television flickers to life. A terrified security guard, Ethan, appears on the screen, trapped inside the digital static of the broadcast. And every single night, he's doing the exact same thing. He's looking out from the television screen, staring into the dark control room, and he's begging the viewers. He looks right into the camera, right at anyone who might happen to be tuning into this haunted frequency, and he pleads, please, don't let it see you. He isn't asking for help anymore, you know? He knows he can't be saved. He's just trying to warn whoever is on the other side of that screen.
So, what does this all mean for us? It leaves us with the ultimate, terrifying meta-twist of this explainer. Think about it. When you tune into a creepy story, when you watch a mysterious broadcast on your phone late at night, are you safely watching a ghost through a screen? Or did you just invite it into the room with you? Are you watching the ghost, or is it watching you? Thanks for exploring this case file with me today. Keep an eye on your screens, and whatever you do, don't turn around.